November 2nd, 2014, from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. It was the Arizona Cardinals at the Dallas Cowboys. Arizona won the toss and they elected to receive, so they would take over to start this game. And they had the ball on their own 15. And then on 3rd and 10 from the 15, Carson Palmer dropped back to pass, and he found Ellington, who took the ball 11 yards for the first down. So now it was a first down on the 26. Palmer then hit Carlson for a 12-yard pass. Then on first down from the 38, Ellington ran for 11 yards. And then on first down from the 49, Ellington ran for 5 yards. That would bring up 2nd and 5 from the Dallas 46. And Carson Palmer was sacked for a 7-yard loss by Melton. So that would make it 3rd and 12 from the Arizona 47. Carson Palmer dropped back to pass, and he was intercepted by Patmon, and he ran it back 58 yards for the touchdown, the pick six, as the Cowboys took the early lead with the score 7-0, Dallas over Arizona. So now the Cardinals would take over on their own 20-yard line with about 11 minutes left in the first quarter. They would end up punting the ball 4 plays later, and so now the Cowboys would take over on their own 17 with less than 9 minutes left in the first quarter. And they would bring the ball up towards midfield somewhat. It was 3rd and 10 in the Dallas 30. Weeden dropped back to pass, and he found Dunbar for a 40-yard pass that brought the ball across midfield into the Arizona 30-yard line. So now they had a first down on the Arizona 30. And after an incomplete pass, they had a false start, and then Weeden hit DeMarco Murray, but it was only for a yard. And after another incomplete pass, Dan Bailey would come out to attempt a 52-yard field goal. It was up, and it was good, and the Cowboys took the lead as they extended their lead to 10-0. So they had the early lead, 10-0 over Arizona. So now the Cardinals would get the ball with about 4 minutes left in the first, and they would bring the ball up towards midfield after starting on their own 20. It was 3rd and 2 on the Arizona 36. Carson Palmer hit Larry Fitzgerald for a 31-yard pass, and that brought the ball across midfield to the Dallas 33. They then got a false start, and that brought it back to the 38. Carson Palmer then hit Jaron Brown for a 10-yard pass, so now it was 2nd and 5 from the 28. Ellington ran for 2 yards, and now it was 3rd and 3 from the Dallas 26, and Carson Palmer hit Jaron Brown for a 4-yard pass. So that made a first down on the 22, and the first quarter came to a close. So after 1, it was Dallas 10, Arizona 0. So now to start things off in the second quarter, the Cardinals had the ball on the Dallas 22, and next play, it was 2nd and 8 on the 20 after they picked up 2 yards on a run from Ellington. Carson Palmer dropped back to pass on 2nd and 8, and he found Larry Fitzgerald for a 9-yard pass to make it a first down on the Dallas 11. And then on 2nd and 10, Ellington ran for 4 yards to make it 3rd and 6. And Carson Palmer dropped back to pass on 3rd and 6 from the Dallas 7, and he found Carlson for a 7-yard touchdown. So now it was 10-7 as the Cardinals cut into the Cowboys' lead as they cut the lead to 3. So now the Cowboys took over with about 12.5 minutes left in the second quarter. They would go 3 and out, so they punted the ball to the Cardinals. The Cardinals would also go 3 and out, and so they punted it back to Dallas. Dallas would then go 3 and out for the second consecutive drive. And so now, well, I don't know if you possession. The Cardinals took over now with about 7.5 minutes left in the second quarter. They had the ball on their own 37. They brought it up towards midfield when on 3rd and 10 from the 37, Palmer hit Floyd for a 12-yard pass. So now it was a first down on the 49. And then Ellington ripped a 20-yard run that made it first down on the Dallas 31. Carson Palmer then dumped off a short pass to Ellington, and he took it for 20 yards. And so now it was a first down on the Dallas 11-yard line. A few plays later, it would be 3rd and 10 from the Dallas 11, and Carson Palmer hit Jaron Brown for an 11-yard touchdown, and the Cardinals took the lead with the score now 14-10, Arizona over Dallas. So now the Cowboys would take over with about 4.5 minutes left in the first half. They had the ball on their own 20. Weeden hit Witten for an 18-yard pass to bring it out to the 38. and then an incomplete pass, but there was a defensive pass interference against Peterson, and so now it would be a first down on the Arizona 45. The Cowboys would end up marching further into the Arizona territory. It would end up being a few plays later, 2nd and 10 from the Arizona 33, and DeMarco Murray ran for 17 yards to bring the ball into the red zone on the Arizona 16. Then a couple plays later on 2nd and 10, Brandon Weeden was sacked for a 9-yard loss by Williams to bring up 3rd and 19. And then after not picking up the first down, on 4th and 11 from the 17, Dan Bailey came out to attempt a 35-yard field goal, but it was blocked by Bethel and recovered by Peterson. And so now the first half would come to a close, and at halftime the score was Arizona 14 and Dallas 10. So to start things off in the third quarter, the Cowboys would get the ball and they would go 3 and out on their first possession of the third quarter. The Cardinals would also go 3 and out on their first possession of the second half. And so now the Cowboys took over near midfield on their own 46 with about 12.5 minutes left in the third. And they would end up getting into Arizona territory. And ended up being a 2nd and 5, about 4 or 5 plays into it. On the Arizona 25, DeMarco Murray ran for a 6-yard run to pick up a first down to bring the ball into the red zone. And then a few plays later, it was 3rd and 9 on the Arizona 18. Brandon Weeden dropped back to pass, and he was intercepted by the Honey Badger as Matthew gave the Cardinals back the ball, and they shut down the Cowboys as they were in the red zone and looking to score. So now the Cardinals took over on their own 19-yard line, and they would bring the ball up towards midfield, but then they ended up getting a penalty, a chop block that would bring them back. So it would end up being 2nd and 25, and then it was 3rd and 18. And although they picked up 15 yards with a pass from Palmer again, they would end up having to bring out the punting unit as they fell short of the first down. So now the Cowboys would take over with a little less than 3.5 minutes left in the third quarter. They would end up bringing the quarter to an end a few plays later, about 7 plays later, when on 1st and 10 from the 35, DeMarco Murray would run for 6 yards and bring the third quarter to a close. So after 3 quarters, it was Arizona 14, Dallas 10, as neither team had scored in the third quarter. So now to open up the fourth quarter, the Dallas Cowboys had the ball on their own 41. It was 2nd and 4. They would fail to pick up the first down, and a couple plays later, the punting unit came out. And so now the Cardinals would get the ball back. But after 4 plays, they punted it back to the Cowboys. The Cowboys then took over on the Arizona 43. They had excellent field position. And then on 3rd and 8, a few plays later, Brandon Weeden hit Witten for a 7-yard pass, and that brought up 4th and 1 on the Arizona 34. And they would go for it, and they gave the ball to DeMarco Murray, and DeMarco Murray was stuffed at the line of scrimmage as the Arizona Cardinals forced the Cowboys to turn the ball over on downs, and they stopped Murray from picking up even a yard on the play. So now the Cardinals took over with about 9.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They had the ball on their own 35. Carson Palmer hit Floyd for a 9-yard pass to bring it to the 44. Ellington then picked up 2 yards in the first down. A few plays later, it was 2nd and 11 on the Arizona 45. Carson Palmer dropped back to pass, and he hit Ted Ginn for a 27-yard reception, and that brought it to the 28-yard line of Dallas. And then Ellington ran for 17 yards. There ended up being a penalty, but it was declined as it was now first down on the Dallas 11-yard line. Carson Palmer then hit Larry Fitzgerald for a 10-yard pass, and that was 1st and goal on the 1. And then after failing to get into the end zone on the first 2 plays, on 3rd and 3rd and goal on the 1, Carson Palmer hit Ellington for a 1-yard touchdown pass as Ellington kind of snuck around to the right, and Palmer got him as they kind of like did a little play action. And it was now 21-10 Arizona over Dallas. So now the Cowboys took over with about 6 minutes left in this game. They had it on their own 25. and they trailed by 11 points. And then on 2nd and 10 from the 25, Brandon Weeden dropped back to pass and was intercepted by Antonio Cromartie, and the Cardinals took back over on the Dallas 28 with about 5.5 minutes left in this game as they were now poised to score. And on 2nd and 6 from the 24, Carson Palmer dropped back to pass and he hit Hughes for an 18-yard reception. Now it was 1st and goal on the Dallas 6. Grice ran for 5 yards, so now it was 2nd and goal on the 1. And after no gain on 2nd down, it would be 3rd and goal on the 1. And Grice would pound it in from a yard out for the touchdown. And it was now 28-10, Arizona over Dallas. So now the Cowboys would take over with about 4:20 left on this clock. They had it on their own 13. And then they were trailing by 18 points. They would end up bringing the ball to midfield when on 2nd and 10 from the 38, Brandon Weeden hit Witten for a 24-yard pass that brought it into Arizona territory on the Arizona 38. And then a few plays later, they would end up with a 2nd and 10 from the 27, and Weeden hit Dez Bryant for a 12-yard pass. And then on 1st and 10 from the 15, Weeden hit Dunbar for a 12-yard pass to make it 1st and goal on the 3. And on 1st down, Brandon Weeden threw it to Dez Bryant for a 3-yard touchdown pass, and that made it 28-17. But with just over a minute left in this game, the Cowboys had next to no chance. They went for an onside kick. It was the only hope they had. The Cardinals recovered, and Carson Palmer took 2 knees, and this game came to a close with the final score, Arizona 28, Dallas 17. And with the win, the Cardinals are the first team in 2014 to reach 7 victories, as they are now 7-1 on the season. The Cowboys are 6-3 as they fall to 500 at home, as they are 3-3 there at AT&T Stadium. And in this game, Carson Palmer was 22 for 34 with 249 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Brandon Weeden was 18 for 33 with 183 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. The leading rusher in the game was Ellington with 21 carries for 95 yards. DeMarco Murray had 19 carries for 79 yards. The leading receiver was Larry Fitzgerald, who had 70 yards off of 5 receptions. And on defense, the Cardinals had 1 sack. That 1 sack was Williams. He was also the leading tackler, as Dan Williams had 7 tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for losses. The Cowboys had a pair of sacks, as Henry Melton had 1.5 sacks, and Anthony Spencer had a half sack. And as for picks, the Cardinals had 2 picks. Matthew and Cromartie each had a pick, and Patmon had a pick for the Cowboys, that pick 6, as he scored that touchdown for the Cowboys defense. But in this game, the Cardinals come up big. They go to Dallas. They pick up the victory. And the final score is Arizona 28, Dallas 17.